These guys. Hey, how's it? I'm Junior Kekuewa Junior. Welcome to the podcast that asked the question, if you could, you would, right? Anyway, how's it? Oh man, so the latest developments like lately. Today's podcast, we're gonna talk about like sacrifice. We'll talk about sacrifice on today's podcast. But first, the attitude of gratitude. I want to say thank you to you guys. We've been getting some unreal stats since Jay's been taking over. And we have no problem with that. Trust me. It's been awesome. So our female demographics are 35%. Used to be 20. Used to be like 20%. So more ladies are listening. Ladies, we'd like to say mahalo and we love you. And thank you very much for tuning into the podcast. I mean, we love you in a kind way. I'm not the kind, not like that. All right. And then 28 to dead is our demos, and it's rising. And we have more 23 to 27-year-olds. That's the stat. So mahalo to you guys. Thank you very much. And on today's podcast, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about sacrifice. So, like I keep telling people, privately and stuff, if you want to, especially the young people, I mentor a lot of young people with my life coaching, and that's why the podcast, right? So the young people can learn. The old guys, they don't need to learn. They've already learned one way or the other. I mean, either they've learned and they're all good, or they haven't learned, they're stuck in their habits and they're happy with it. Because people are happy. I was happy with my bad habits. I really was. And then, but I had to change them because, it's just, you got to evolve. Well, you don't have to, but it's ideal to evolve. Now, the thing about sacrifice, if I were to have said to somebody, okay, look, you can have your dream, but for 30 years, okay, you can't do anything but focus on your dream. For 30 years, all you do is work on that one goal. You don't go anywhere. You don't take vacations. You don't do, all that stuff. You just focus on your goal. How many people will go, okay, I'm down. Sign me up, right? And so what I did was something a little different, but I didn't do it by choice. Well, I did it by choice, but it took something very special. Okay? Enter Brother Wayne. Now, so this guy, Wayne Borge, he was blind. He was born sighted, as a matter of fact. And he was blinded because back in the old days, they had incubators when you were born premature, right? Technology wasn't all that. And what happened was the oxygen level was, I guess, too much or something like that. And it burnt out his retinas. So he was blinded in an incubator as an infant, as a baby. And so he never saw, right? Now, fast forward to when I was 24 years old and, I met Brother Wayne, right? And it was the most, I want to say it was the most awkward meeting of my whole life. I mean, only because of me, because I didn't know how to talk to a blind person. Well, that's what I was thinking, right? And as I got to know Brother Wayne more and more, and as we, went down the road of challenge, which was our career, right? Building our career and our businesses. What I learned was a lot of other people had the same hangups. A lot of people didn't know how to talk to him. They didn't know how to make conversation. They didn't want to say the wrong thing. They didn't want to offend him. That kind of thing. And so, but anyway, long story short on that part of the thing was, after I got to talk to him, got to know him, went up to his house. He was in a care home. And we, sat on the floor with two $100 guitars. We didn't have anything at that time, like nothing. And that was all we had, two $100 guitars. And it was like lightning the first time we got together. And we jammed like all day long on a Saturday, like from 8 o'clock in the morning, like all the way. And it was the kind of thing where, ideas started hitting me. And this was more, I want to say it was more intuitive ideas. Because when you get intuitive ideas, intuition, okay, and take notes. This is life coaching right here, okay? When you have intuitive thought, you need to act on it, okay? Because that's God showing you like, okay, here, look, this is possible. You want to do this? This is possible. You want to do that? I mean, I can tell you, like, tons of, at one time in my life, right? And we're going to take a hard left over here, Heinz. Hard left, Heinz. Here we go. But for a long period of my life, right? I was thinking, wow, I want to meet the right girl, right? The right girl. We'll get into that on another. That's not a podcast, Heinz, okay? And that's under the relationship category. But I'm just saying, like, God was presenting me with women. Like, you want this one? You want that one? You want this one? You want that? And so we had to start holding auditions. I mean, and eventually, right, God gave me the one that you go, okay, here, there you go. How you like that one? And I was like, whoa. And so anyway, all right, back to the original. Okay, that was the hard laugh ones, but that's coming up. That's coming up in the future on another podcast, as they say. But yeah, so Wayne and I started out in life like that, right? And we met in 1984. I'm going to give you guys years. I don't care. Yeah, I'm old already. So in 1984, we met in 1984. I was 24. Okay, do the math. Okay, because I don't care. Anyway, but we met in 1984. I was a 24-year-old kid. Okay, he was 35. He was 35. And so, and he was this musical genius, okay? I got all these ideas from that first meeting, right? Oh, we could do this. Wow, we could do this. We could do this. And I didn't say anything, when we were playing. And when so I would try stuff. Oh, I'll try this then. See if you can follow me with that, this, that, whatever. No matter what I pulled out of the hat, not only could he follow me, and not only was he amazing, but he matched my energy. It was like, go, 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 boom, 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 like that. And I thought, like, whoa, I never, I used to play with guys and he'd go, oh, can we take a break? And I'm like, break? Like, I had chicks like that too. It's like, and this one chick, she was like, oh yeah, she was talking a big game, right? And after about 20 minutes, excuse me, can we take a break? That's not a podcast, Heinz. But anyway, I thought that was funny. Anyway, all right. So, but that happened. So I started getting intuitive thoughts, right? So at the end of that session, if you want to call it a session, at the end of that day on a Saturday evening, it was about 7:30. I sat down. I said, look, bro, we could do this. We could do that. We could do this. We could do that. And I started with a laundry list of things we could do. And if we partnered up, right? And his response was, yeah, can. And so we started out on that journey. Okay. Now this was in 1984. So we did a gig. We did a neighborhood bar gig, which was probably the most fun time of my life. It just, as far as music went, right? I mean, we had fun later on with our shows and stuff, the big shows, but the Kalihi bar days was really fun. I mean, that was, people get shot outside the bar. I mean, there was a lot of action. People got thrown into the fire hydrant. I mean, it was, oh man, Hawaiians. So, it was a rugged kind of environment, and that's the way we came up. And we came up through that kind of thing. And, cause you don't start playing, Caesar's Palace, or you don't start playing, you know what I mean? Carnegie Hall. You don't know. You start small, you start at the bottom, and that's what we did. And so anyway, going through this thing, right? In 1990, okay, so from 1984 to 1990, we do all kinds of stuff. You name it, we took it. Whatever was offered, we took it, right? Now, in the meantime, I'm doing radio. Okay, I was doing radio from 1979. So I was doing radio from 1979 and, $5 an hour weekend jobs and part-time here and there and whatever. And on the side, I was doing other things. I had security jobs, all kinds of jobs, odd jobs, whatever, whatever, all kinds of stuff. Things that were not conducive to my goal, except for the radio part that was, but the other things outside of radio that was not, that was to live, that was to survive, that was to make money. And there's a difference between making money and following your dream, okay? A lot of people end up a slave to making money and they give up on their dreams. because they don't know that God will make a way, okay? Now, this is not church, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not preaching the kind of God that you get from the 501c3 churches, that kind of God. No, I'm talking about the energy that lives in you. You are not your body. You are not your name. You are the energy in you. Okay, your body carries you around. Okay, you're the one inside. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, now we fast forward to 1990, right? Now I got engaged, right, to like the most beautiful girl that I saw, like at that, up until that time. She was the most beautiful girl I ever saw. It wasn't the kind of thing where, I got down on one knee, and it wasn't that kind of crazy stuff. It was, we made the decision together, and, and then we started saving money. She moved in with me, and, the rest, as they say, is history. But in 1990, right, we were gonna see. I was at this place. I was renting from this older lady, and she didn't like her. They were like, females, chicks are competitive, right? And so she didn't like the old lady, and so and I didn't look at her as being an old lady, but compared to my fiance, she was old. She was she was in her 50s, right? And my fiance was like, she was 18. I think she was 8. No, she was 19. She was 19. So, and here's another thing, right? Don't go get engaged to a 19-year-old, because I did a lot of stuff that was over the top. I did a lot of So, but that's how you learn. You just go. Hawaiian, sometimes you gotta just go. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Right? I was like Brother Wayne with the music, right? He was like, yeah, well, whatever, okay, yeah, shoots. And so I just went. And so I got engaged to this girl, and I said, hey, can we bring Brother Wayne with us? Now, this is in 1990, okay? And so Brother Wayne was, like, yeah, they go. Yeah, we'll go. So he was in the care home. Now, here's a couple of things were significant about this. The first thing that was significant is I promised him, and I said, brah, you come with me, because, he's leaving a care home, right? It was a what do you call it? It wasn't like a care home. It was like he was, I forgot what you call it, but it was like, I guess you could call it a care home, but he wasn't a care home. Anyway, he wasn't, medically disabled or anything like that. It was just blind. And he was there. And so he was leaving that safety kind of thing, right? And so I told him, I said, hey, if, we'll go do this, and, you come with us, and we can start our business. Because one of the things that I threw out on the table is like, hey, we'll build a production company. We'll record people. We'll produce people. We'll do this. We'll do that. And, all these kind of things. And so, in his mind, he was like, whoa, yeah, exciting. Okay, let's do it. And in my mind, I was like, wow, this is totally doable, because we've got two sides. We've got the creative side, which was me, and we got the musical side, the nuts and bolts of music on his side. And I'm like, wow, we put these two things together, and boom. So it's like those it's like those duos that you see, you have two guys, right? Like Hall and Oates. I don't know. I'm an old school guy. So locally in Hawaii, we had guys like Cecilio and Kopono. We had the Beamer brothers. We had, if there's anybody listening to me in Hawaii that remembers that. I mean, most of our audience is young, and most of our audience is outside of Hawaii. But anyway, those people, and you can Google that. But when you put these two people together, you get magic, right? And if there's just, if they're just performing individually, they're okay. But the magic doesn't happen until you put them together. And that was us, right? We found that chemistry, and it just happened. It just so happened everything clicked on that one day, right? So now we're pursuing, whatever. And so, I asked my fiance, I said, hey, can we bring Brother Wayne with us? And, we can go look for a 3-bedroom. We'll build a recording studio in 1 bedroom, and he can have a room, and we can have a room, and everybody's happy, and we're all good. And she's like, yeah. And that's how it happened. So I promised him, I said, bro, because he's leaving his comfort zone, right? The care home. And I said, as long as I'm alive, you will never have to go back to a care home as long as I live. I promise you that much. And he didn't really care. I mean, he was like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. He didn't care that, about that. He didn't care about that, but that was me. That was for me. I did that for me. And I had to I'm the kind of person, I got to hold myself to stuff. And I have a set of, although my morals and values may be a little distorted here and there always, especially when it comes to chicks. But I will tell you that I do have standards that I hold myself to, and I think everybody should, right? So anyway, and one of the things that I do is when I make a promise to myself, I mean, you can do whatever you want to anybody else, but you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be up and up with yourself. And so that's what I did. And I made that promise back in 1990. So Brother Wayne comes with us. We start out, and the rest, as they say, is history. We started with a production company. We did all kinds of stuff, right? Now, the thing that I knew, and this is what the podcast is about, sacrifice, okay? The thing, or my sacrifice. The thing that I knew going in was like, okay, I'm going to be taking care of a blind man, okay? I'm going to be responsible because I am responsible. And the reason I was responsible is because he can't be responsible. I mean, he can't, go get stuff or go drive to here. I got to take him. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I was willing, I was down. I was like, yeah, let's do this, and I was responsible. Now, down the road, little bit, down the road, we met this girl, and I'm not going to mention names or anything, but we met this girl who was really, really cool. And I thought, wow, she would be a good friend for him, and hang out. And she liked to sing and he liked to play. And so we brought her into the fold, so to speak, right? Now, 8 years down the road in the engagement, it didn't work out. Okay. And so my fiance and I just broke up and whatever. And then we took this girl in, right, with us. And she was like, till today, I refer to her as one of the brotherhood, because she was one of, we used to call her the only sister in the brotherhood. That's how we used to call her. And she called me dad, and she still calls me dad. And I still look at her as, Hanai. In Hawaii, Hanai, let me explain Hanai. Hanai is like, they're not your real family, but you take them in as family, and then you're like family, okay? Because you can be related to people, okay? And then you can be family to people. So, and there's a difference, right? There's a big difference. So don't get those confused. Don't feel obligated to people that are related to you by blood if they are, whatever way they are, that is not conducive to your liking or whatever, that kind of thing. Just let go and build your own family. And that's what I did. So both of these guys, right, Brother Wayne and her, they were my family, and we moved forward together, and we built stuff. We built a singing school right after the production company. And the story just kind of goes, right? It's much too long for a podcast. But the sacrifice part was, wow, when this girl came to live with us, she had a mild case of cerebral palsy, which meant that she used crutches to get around, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, whatever, come with us. Yeah, we got you, kind of thing. And then we just kind of went down the road like that. And they became buddies, and they were, which was important to me because I had another girlfriend at the time. And, trust me, these guys saw it all, but they saw chicks come in and out. And I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. But, that was me being me. And, the stuff I had with them and the business and businesses actually, was something else. And so anyway, I knew that, first of all, I got to take care of these guys. I am responsible. And, I can be a pain in the butt when I'm responsible, because things got to be done my way. As far as not like, forcing anybody to do stuff, but as in like, hey, I'm responsible. So you guys, You can't go all over the creation with so and so and this and that and blah 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 and whatever, and you got to lock the house. I mean, basic rules that you would have for a family, and but anyway, we had the best times, like the best times. Best times of my life was with these two, and I was responsible, and this actually taught me responsibility. Okay. I had the other podcast where I told you guys I had 6 girlfriends, right? For 3 years, the same 6 girls, assigned each one a day. And that taught me time management. Okay. This taught me responsibility. Okay. And so anyway, and I know what you're thinking, right? You went 6 girlfriends. Well, 3 years. Yeah. It was a trip, Hoynes. But, and they were all quality girls. They were all quality females. They were all good people, So, but anyway, back to the, sacrifice, right? So I knew that I would have to give up a lot of stuff. And it was all in the name of music and getting to where I wanted to be in music. And, I keep telling you guys, right, where I wanted to be was that Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, locally, Don Ho and Sam Kapoor kind of thing. You guys can Google those guys. But it's the same thing. They were like the local Hawaii version of Frank Sinatra and Elvis and all those guys, right? The performers. And so that was my dream. And I had committed to my dream. And I had committed with Brother Wayne to the dream. Okay, and not only that, I had committed to taking care of Wayne, and and then taking care of this girl, right? As we went down that road together, and so as a result, I never took vacations. I never, I was never able to leave the island and just go. If I left the island, it was with Brother Wayne to do a job on the neighbor islands, on Kauai. We went to Kauai for a vacation. I think once we went for a family thing that was going on with me on my side, and then we went, to do gigs, to do shows, and we did shows on Kauai. We did shows on Maui. We did, that kind of thing. We did a wedding on the Big Island. We did that kind of thing. So we would do that, but other than that, there was no such thing as me getting on a jet and going somewhere, with some girl on a week vacation to, I don't know, Acapulco or something. Yeah, no, none of that. But, there was this cartoon when I was a kid, and one of the characters used to say, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it, right? And I committed, I'm that kind of person that if I commit to something, like I committed to my engagement, right? 8 years later, I found out, hey, what? Different podcast lines. But anyway, yeah, so I commit, right? All right, let's do this. I'm all in, whatever, all the cliches, any cliche you want to use, just insert it right there. So I was committed. Now, I knew, like, wow, this is going to be, I'm going to have to commit to the dream, or I'm going to have to, like, be half-ass about it, and I may not get the dream. Okay, did I get the dream? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Hawaiians, I got the dream. Not only did I get the dream, but I was also protected, okay? And this is, like I said, God is real. And I was protected from the snakes. I was protected from the guys that, preyed on people with talent. I was protected from, a lot of stuff. The drug dealers, like a lot of people. Guys that, and like I said on another podcast, some of these drug dealers work for the record companies that produce the guys that, it's not like how can I say this? It's the environment. It's just there. Chicks are just there. Drugs are just there. I mean, it comes with the territory. And sometimes, when you got to do a work contract and you got to, keep up, right? Yeah. So, oh, well, hey, try this cocaine over here. This will keep you going. Oh, really? And you try. And then pretty soon, down the road, you end up in rehab. Some of the most talented people in Hawaii ended up in rehab, and I feel sorry for them. But you know what? They got to live their dream. Okay. I got to live my dream. Okay, but I came out on the other end without all this other stuff, right? And that was, I attribute that to Brother Wayne. I attribute that to Brother Wayne because he kept my head on straight, because we were partners in this thing. We were partners in the business. So he was, I had a blind business partner. I tell people that I had a blind business partner. They're like, what? And they're like, you had what? I'm like, yeah, I had a blind business partner who was my best friend. Sometimes he was like my dad. Sometimes he was like my brother. Sometimes he was like my son. I mean, so the dynamics kind of switched up like that. Sometimes I needed advice and I would be sitting down and I would be going, oh man, bro, this is going on and, whatever. And he would come up with the biggest dose of wisdom, and you're talking about a guy who doesn't have the kind of life experience that I had. And he came up with this words of wisdom, Sometimes he would feed my words back to me. And he wouldn't be doing it on purpose. He would just, he would hear me say things and whatever. And then when I got in a pinch or a bind or just feeling down or whatever, I go through things everybody goes through, right? And he would come back with my words from I don't know, a year ago, 6 months ago, sometimes last week. And he would throw it down and I would go wow, yeah, okay. Wow. That's right. And I would have to, get it together and okay, all right, that kind of thing. So, but the sacrifice, Hawaiians, okay, was that I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything for 30 years. Okay, 30 years. Now, Brother Wayne passed away 7 years ago. And when he passed away, our companies, which we have several, I'm not here to flex, so it's not about that. But our companies were all centered around me and him, or he and I should say, my grammar. But anyway, but yeah, we say that in Hawaii. Oh, me and him, bro. Yeah, me and him, we can do that. But anyway, so everything was built around us, because I did some work, he did some work, and we put that together. And okay, this was that, and then, so we had a production company. In our production company, he did the music tracks, I did the engineering, I did the singing, he did the playing, I did the arranging, he did arranging. So, I mean, that kind of thing, right? So the production company was built around the two of us. Now, you take one guy out of the equation, now you got to replace him, So when I was writing jingles and doing all that stuff and being the real life Charlie from 2.5 Men, he was the music guy. Right. So I would write the jingles on my guitar. I would sing the jingles. He would, do the music tracks. I would do the engineering. I would do the mix down. I would do the mastering. And so our talents worked together kind of thing. Right. And so that's the way it worked. And that's what we did. And so when he passed away, right, now I got to go find a guy to do the music. We did jingles. There was this jingle in Hawaii. It's called Windows Hawaii. And it's the only jingle I think that we have still running. But that jingle was done with other people, because I had to go hire. And so when Brother Wayne passed away, right, I had to go hire people. Okay, I'm going to hire him and, I hired my 14-year-old student to play bass because he was a bass player. And I taught him the bass parts in 10 minutes, I think. And I go, here, this is the jingle right here. And he played it and I paid him. And I told him, I said, bro, you are the youngest kid on any jingle in town. And he was so proud, he was so happy, And I got to do another podcast about making kids feel big, okay? Because more people, in my humble opinion, need to make kids feel big so that they know that things are possible when they get older, when they get to be adults, when they get out there in the world. Because a lot of people, myself included, do not know what's possible unless they experience or get a taste of it or get around it or whatever. And then it becomes an idea in your head sometimes, right? That, oh, this thing is too big for me to do. Oh, nah, recording an album? Oh, man, that kind of thing. But anyway, the commitment thing, okay? Committing to the dream. When you commit to the dream, there is no plan B. There is only a plan A. If you have a plan B for your dream, forget your dream, okay? Forget it. Because what happens is you go so long with plan A, right? And when you hit the wall, and trust me, you will hit the wall. Okay, dreams are like that. I've had tons of dreams that all manifested, that all came true. And there was always a wall. There was always like, oh man, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to do this? Like, what now? Right. And if you're patient, and if you just, sometimes you got to take a hard left. Like I take you guys on the podcast, right? We go hard left. Okay. Sometimes you got to take a hard left. And sometimes God does that. But God opens another door and you go, whoa, I didn't expect this. And then you get to live the dream, right? That same dream. And you go like, whoa, wow, yeah, I never expected it would happen this way, right? So a lot of things, happen like that. But along the way, right, I took one trip. I had one trip in 2002. And I told a story about when I was James Earl Jones for, 2 weeks on the AFTRA strike way back. Anyway, but that's another podcast, and we have to redo that podcast. Jay's having me redo everything. The numbers are great. Like, oh my God, everything changed since he took over. But yeah. So anyway, but the commitment part, right? When you commit to the dream, you gotta go all the way. You gotta go out. When you get to the point where things hit the wall, and you go, oh, what do we do now? Sometimes it looks insurmountable. Sometimes it looks like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Okay, but just have patience, right? Sometimes you got to wait it out. Sometimes you got to turn left or right or whatever, and another door will open and you will get to where you're going. Okay, but you have to make sacrifices. That's what this podcast is about, sacrifice. Okay, so I took one business trip in 2002. I went to Tahiti, and I told that story on a podcast. That was a disappointment. But I got to be James Earl Jones on the radio with Verizon commercials for 2 weeks when the strike was going on, right? And the other thing is, like, nobody could know it was me because we did it out of the country. I mean, all this stuff. I'm like, damn. So you get to the point where you do something significant and you cannot tell. I mean, I told people, right? And they was like, nah. And I don't know, check it out. And they would check it out and they would listen good. And they go, oh, yeah, that's right. That is you. That kind of thing, right? But that's like 2 or 3 people. You don't get the notoriety if it's undercover like that. And they had to send me out of the country. I'm like, oh, man. So then again, right, I was looking for a break. I was looking for something, I was looking for that thing to be discovered, all that kind of crap. And so, but, one time in 30 years, I took a business trip for 4 days. And it's only because one of my exes, actually came to the house, and I let her stay at the house. Okay. And she took care of my 2 friends, Brother Wayne and this girl that we took care of. And so she took care of them. And that was kind of funny too, because, she started to play house and I had to kick her out. And she became an ex again. I mean, well, she wasn't, we didn't get together or anything, but I'm just saying she was welcome to stay at my house, and she took good care of them. And she took good care of me for a while too, because she didn't have a place. And I took good care of her, and, but then she got a little too comfortable and, started saying stuff when I went out on dates and stuff. And I'm like, hey, I'm single, so that didn't set right. And then, so she was gone again. But anyway, I'm just saying, Hawaiians, you got to commit, right? And you got to sacrifice. So, what is your sacrifice on the way to success, or whatever you call that? The dream. Okay. Your dream. If you want to be an attorney, what's the sacrifice you got to make? Maybe you cannot go to the parties. Maybe you cannot go out on weekends. Maybe you're at home working on your law degree. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you got to give up all that stuff, at least in the beginning. Okay. So for 30 years, I did not do anything, nothing, right? Now I got to the point where Brother Wayne passed away. God rest his soul, and that was highly unexpected and tragic. I went through 2 of the most gut-wrenching years of my life, watching my best friend waste away from cancer. And right after that, I met a girl, and then her brain went away, from antidepressants, because she came down with cancer. And I'm like, whoa. So I started, this began to be a running theme with me, and I'm like, oh man, it was one thing after the other, right? So the last 7 years since he's been gone has been nothing but more work for me. And going through these things, right? Him, then her, then, that kind of stuff. And that was, it was like, being tested by fire, because now I had to take the companies and I had to make it all revolve around me and subcontractors. I had to go out and hire people. I had to go. So my job is more like, I want to say my life is more like an administrator, because I do everything online, and, we moved all the companies online. So an administrator, right? We take orders for things, not to get into all kinds of business stuff, but we take orders for things, and I field the orders and I send them out. They get fulfilled. That goes to the client. They get an invoice. Boom. We keep doing business like that. And that had to be tweaked to where, I needed new subcontractors. I needed guys to do music. Now I needed guys to do this, to do that. And so that had to be structured, and building that kind of structure, was a challenge. And I mean, it almost killed me. I started getting to the point where, like, I was drinking wine every day. I was drinking beer every day. I was like, oh man, just to get through the to put a Band-Aid on this, I don't want to say agony. It wasn't that bad, but it was, it's like, wow, I went through all of this, right? We built all of this. We went through all of this the first time. Now I got to do it again. And now it's only me, right? And I'm like, why is it just me? Like, that kind of thing. You see what I mean? And so you get those thoughts, and so you never know what people are going through, Hawaiians. And I went through a lot in the past 7 years. But in the last 2 years, right, everything. So it took 5 years to rebuild. It took 5 years to, I used to say on the old podcast, the ones that we had to delete, because we did it wrong. We did the marketing wrong. So we had to start over. But I said on the old podcasts, right, that we had to, I had to rebuild. And I was rebuilding for 5 years, like 5 tough, excruciating 5 years, man. I tell you. And I'm the kind of guy, like, if I see something and I'm like, okay, there's the light at the end of the tunnel, let's chase it. Then we go. We just, you do nothing but that. And, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I start work like right away. Like now I work online. So, I do all kinds of stuff at 4:30. I get up, go down, get my coffee, go to the office. Sometimes I'm at the office at 2:30. My office used to be in this small little town, Kalihi, and now my office is smack dab in the middle of downtown Honolulu. It's in a place called Pauahi Tower. This is actually there's a lot of history to it, but Pauahi Tower is right in the middle of town, and sometimes I get there at like 2:30 in the morning. Sometimes I get there at 1 o'clock in the morning. The security guard is the only guy. Hey, Junior, what's up? And, hey, good morning. How's it? And and I gotta wait till 4:30 till Starbucks opens, or if I'm lucky, I buy the Starbucks at the store, and in the plastic bottle, right? Take it to work, and there you go. And so, and I really haven't really publicized like that I'm there. A lot of people don't know that my office is there, or that I'm there, or whatever, and I don't care to let them know. And in the process, in the last 5 years, we built 2 other offices, one in Los Angeles, one in San Francisco. And that's for my digital marketing company. So, there's been a lot going on, like behind the scenes, right? And I do the podcast for me is like, it's the life coaching company. It's the life coaching side. And it's also, something that I have fun doing, because it resembles radio. It's a little like radio. Not too much, but small kind, and it's fun, because radio used to be the fun thing for me. And, it was fun until it wasn't fun anymore. And then it was nothing, because I left. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this crap. And, that was the end of that story, right? The book closed, actually. The chapter was over and the book closed, and that's it. And you got to close the book, Hawaiians. That's another thing. I said this on another podcast, okay? And this is more life coaching right here, okay? Sometimes, people say, well, don't burn your bridges just in case you need to cross that bridge again, All right, here's my thinking, all right? You need to burn that bridge down to the ground. It needs to be in ashes, okay? Because it depends, right? I mean, if you leave in an amicable way, then of course not. You're not going to burn the bridge. But, you try something, right? And somebody doesn't help you. Or you try something and somebody takes advantage of you. Or you're in some kind of business agreement and, people get greedy or whatever it is. Like something goes wrong, okay? Why would you want to leave that bridge there? You see what I'm saying, Hawaiians? And in that case, hey, burn the damn bridge down. And I do that on purpose. I do that on purpose with certain people and certain things, certain companies, certain whatever, because I want to make sure that there's never another time that I get involved with these guys because of their behavior, because of the way that they treated me or the way they conducted themselves or whatever it is that was not conducive to my liking. And in that case, yeah, burn them down, Hawaiians. Make sure that don't happen again. Because you know what's going to happen? And this, I'm telling you this from experience, okay? What's going to happen is you come across these people that make you, well, in Hawaii, we say any kind. They make you any kind, okay? Which is, a variety of things. That's a blanket statement for like anything, right? But they do that. They're careless. They're callous. They mistreat you, right? And then when you have something later on and something pops up and all of a sudden you're in a position or you have something or, your company is doing something significant or you're doing something significant, all these guys start coming around. They all start coming around and then, hey, you remember me? That kind of thing. Hawaiians, come on. You don't need that, all right? That's why you burn the bridge. That's why you kick their ass out, okay? Don't mean to swear on a podcast, but yeah, there you go, okay? That's why you do that. Because if it doesn't work for you the first time, what makes you think it's going to work for you again? What makes you think you got to keep that channel open so that if something good happens to you and you start doing good things, they're going to go, oh, hey, I got girls that do that. I got girls I dated years and years ago. And today, they're going, hey. I'm like, hey, what do you mean, hey? Go home. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm just saying that if there was a reason, there was a girl that came to my office asking me for money and stuff. And please, like pleading with me, like begging me. And I'm like, baby, look, things happen and we ended it for a reason, okay? And here's the thing, you guys. Exes are exes for a reason, okay? And sometimes you have to recall that reason, okay? So you don't make the same mistake again, okay? You don't want to keep repeating. You don't want to get back on the merry-go-round, mouse wheel, whatever you want to call it. But you don't want to do that, okay? Now, the sacrifice I made, right? 30 years, nowhere. I didn't go anywhere, right? Now, we tried to work in Vegas, and I hired an agent in Orlando, Florida. I hired the guy, I said, and he actually went. I got the email, and on that email, it's me, Dionne Warwick, and a Cirque show. And I was like, whoa. And, I have it in my email. I haven't really, taken it out and whatever, but I'm going to print that thing. I'm going to put it in a frame, because I was very proud of the fact that my name was mentioned with Dionne Warwick and Circus Olay, whatever they call it. I don't know, Cirque du Olay or whatever it is. But the Cirque show. And I was like, whoa. I mean, to me, that was like, bro, if you can hit that high, even if you didn't get the job, even, the reason why we didn't get Vegas was because I had not performed in North America. So there were no numbers from Ticketmaster, because investors want to see like, okay, did this guy draw? Was this guy popular? What did he do? And I had nothing because we were just here in Hawaii. And I didn't even have any concerts here. I didn't do concerts. I did shows. We did a different thing. So, but yeah, that's the reason why I didn't, and I certainly, from the business aspect, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. But we tried. The most important thing that you guys got to know is you got to try. Even if the odds are against you, I knew everything was stacked against me, including the fact that they don't even do the kind of stuff I do in Las Vegas anymore. I've rarely, probably one or two shows like that somewhere off the strip, somewhere in the back room, somewhere, I don't know. But I'm just saying, right? You gotta go. You gotta go. Because you don't want to be lying on your deathbed when you're 90 years old or 85 or whatever it is and go, oh, you know what? I should have tried that. Yeah, I should have experienced that. I should have, could have, would have. No, bullshit. Sorry. That's the way I talk at home. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah. But when I die, when I'm on my deathbed, I'm already happy right now. I lived all my dreams already. If I died tonight in my sleep, Hawaiians don't feel sorry for me. I had a great run and I lived all of my dreams. I thank God I have everything. I really have my health. I have. But I'm totally happy. And if I die tonight, mission accomplished. Boom, there. Everything that I thought when I was sitting on the beach at 4:00 in the morning, at Wailua Beach at 4:00 in the morning, all by myself, fantasizing about, I'm going to cross that water. I'm going to get to the island of Oahu and I'm going to do a show and I am going to sing my songs, right? And that took a long time. That took a long, long time, but everything turned out, all those daydreams. Okay. And there's another thing about life coaching, right? When you do that, you're in alpha state. Your brain is in alpha state, okay? Alpha waves. And that goes straight to your subconscious and that programs your subconscious. So next time you're daydreaming, remember, when you're daydreaming, okay, you gotta fantasize because your subconscious doesn't know the difference and it will take baby steps conducive to your goals and you will achieve your goals, okay? So if you're daydreaming, don't dismiss it, okay? Go for it. Do more of it. Do more of that. Okay. Get lost in your imagination and just go. But when you're doing it, you got to fine tune your imagination. You have to go, okay, I want to do, whatever. Like in my case, I want to do a show, but then, and then fine tune it. I want to do a show with dancing girls, with hula girls, whatever, monkeys. I want to do a circus with lions, whatever. Be specific and go for your dreams, okay? Because your subconscious is the one that does this, okay? And God is real, and God is the superconscious. Then you have the subconscious and the conscious mind, okay? And once you learn how to work those three in concert, there's nothing you can't do. Sometimes you got to wait. Sometimes it takes a little time. Sometimes you get frustrated. Everybody, okay? Sometimes there are external things like the economy, like all kinds of stuff that is not conducive to what you want, but you got to persevere. You got to keep at it. For 30 years, I never went anywhere. So I thought, right, years ago when I was rebuilding, right, before the pandemic, I thought, okay, now I can travel. And I was telling people I know, I thought, I'm trying to figure out where to go. If I take my finger and I just point them on a map somewhere, the world map, right? Like I can afford to go anywhere. I just point, okay, we're going over there. Like where is there? I don't know, but we're going. That kind of thing. And so I was trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? And I couldn't figure it out, right? And I thought, well, okay, we're going to plan. And I started planning, and I shut down the Junior Kekuewa Junior Roadshow, the wedding and party business. I shut it because I was tired. I was tired of performing without Wayne. I was tired. It had an empty feeling. It was like work. With Wayne, it was like fun, and now it was like work. I shut it down in 2019. We shut it down. It's on Facebook if you want to take a look at it. It's the Junior Kekuewa Junior Show, and a roadshow. And you can go take a look at what we used to do. There's tons and tons and tons of pictures, tons of events, and all kinds of stuff. And we shut it down in 2019. In 2020, right, the pandemic happened. Okay, cancel travel plans, right? So I didn't go anywhere. Okay, now it's 2023. We've adjusted from the pandemic because I had to move my company. I had to move my main office. I had to just all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, well, no, we got to make changes. We got to make adjustments. We moved everything to the web. Now everything is solid. And now I'm going to start going places. And the first place I'm going, well, I'm not going to tell you, that's not a podcast, Hawaiians, but I'm going somewhere. And finally, I'm going to take vacations. In fact, I might take 2 or 3 or 4 vacations in a row. I might just go. That's what I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking, and I'm thinking road trip. I've always wanted to do a road trip, and I'm thinking long road trip, right? Just go, because I can work on the road. Everything is in my laptop. That's what I do every day, in my laptop. That's my life. And I enjoy this chapter like that, because before everything had to be in person and, whatever. And now I can get lazy and just, jump out of bed, put a hat on, and boom. I'm online working and seeing people on Skype and FaceTime and doing all this kind of, life coaching, all this kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah. So, okay, everybody has to sacrifice. Okay, I'm going to bring it back to sacrifice. My sacrifice was, I had to take care of someone who was blind. I took care of someone who had cerebral palsy. Okay, and together, the three of us built some unreal stuff. We built some unreal stuff. Okay, and then, life happens. People move on. Our friend moved on and moved out and whatever, and then Brother Wayne came down with cancer. That was unfortunate, and now it's just me. And so now, I face the next leg of the journey, and after having done the sacrifice to live all my dreams, now I'm trying to figure out what the sacrifice is going to be. Like, what is this sacrifice? I don't see any. I don't feel any. And in the beginning, when I knew that, okay, bro, there's a lot of stuff you cannot do, but you can do this, right? And you got Wayne, you got a musical genius over here to back you up. You got a musical genius over here. That's the other half of everything you're going to do. Okay. But the trick is, you cannot leave. How many people will go for that dream, Hawaiians? How many people will go, oh yeah, sign me up. Okay. I cannot, no vacations. Cannot go any place. Okay. I got to stay over here. Okay. I got to do it, but I can live my dreams. Okay. How many people are going to sign up? I'm just asking. I don't know. I do not know, but I can tell you one thing. I never even thought about it twice. I'm like, okay, let's build the companies. Let's go. Let's do this. Come move in. You get your own room. You get, everything. Brother Wayne, whatever. Let's do this. And we embarked on a journey. And we had to put up with, a lot of stuff on that journey. And we didn't always agree. I got to say this. He didn't always agree with the chicks I brought home and all this kind of stuff. He didn't always agree with the kind of life I was living. And I didn't care. I didn't give a rip, because I'm just that way. I just don't give a rip, But it wasn't like, like he was in danger or inconvenienced or anything. He just didn't approve of the way I was doing stuff. And I didn't care. And I didn't approve of the way he was doing stuff. And he did stuff. If you think a blind man can't do stuff, you never lived with a blind man. So, but I'm just saying, but you know what? When I saw Jerry Lewis, I saw this guy, Jerry Lewis, you can Google him, and Dean Martin. And he was talking about Dean Martin once. And he was talking about the love that they had for each other. And I never understood it, right? Because I was like, well, but they was married. They're not gay. So I didn't understand that. And this was years ago. This was like maybe 25 years ago, 20 years ago. And I never understood it. And so after Wayne passed away, I went back and I watched the Jerry Lewis interviews, and I thought to myself, you know what? There was a lot of love. And the biggest love that Wayne and I had was music. The biggest love we had was performing for people and making people happy, making people laugh, entertaining people. That was love number one. The second love was, I had a brother, because I'm an only child. And that was my brother. And, sometimes, like I said, he was older brother, younger brother, whatever. Dynamics changed. But then that was the second thing, And right up until the end, we had that bond, but the thing that kept us going was the music, the goal, okay, the dream. And once we lived like all the dreams, right, we had to try to figure out, okay, now we're going Vegas, blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, there was a huge sacrifice on my part. There was a huge sacrifice on his part too. I mean, everybody sacrifices. So remember that. The next time, you guys think about a dream, think about the fact that there's going to be a sacrifice. I don't care what. Sometimes if you're a carpenter, you gotta sorry, Hawaiians, I gotta go. But yeah, hey, we want to thank our sponsors, Island Club and Spa, Brother Randy, Sister Jerry, also AFM Hawaii Music, featuring the music of Darren Janen, and Voice Master Enterprises family of service companies. Till next time, I'm Junior going, hey, wow, you guys gotta sacrifice, okay? Be willing to take the sacrifice, because you gotta give to get. Yeah. Till next time, I'm Junior. Say mahalo and aloha.